Me? Let me go next. Okay. Yeah, man. After that fourth quarter, there was about 4 minutes left in that game. I even made a post in one of the Lions chats, or actually it was an NFC North chat, that, hey, man, this is an embarrassing loss. Detroit Lions got to pick this up. And I never really do this. I've never done this. I'm kind of the guy, like I'm ride or die right to the last second. And I just felt we weren't going to come back. And I made a post, and I'm paying for it right now. I'm getting dragged in this post in this NFC North group, which hey, well deserved. But hey, man, I just made a little bit of a mistake. I left these guys for dead, man. And then, like Walt said, we scored that big JMO touchdown. The energy got up. I stood up in my room, like in my house. I was in my recliner, and I was like, okay, man, maybe we got a shot here. Bears get the ball back. They try to run the football, and you could see that our linebackers were literally 2 yards off the ball, like right on the D line's ass. They knew the Bears were going to run the football, so we stopped them. Boom, boom, 2 big stops. Fields tries to go deep on a shot, which I'm not sure what they were really trying to do there. I don't really know who that. I don't know who their offensive coordinator is over there in Chicago, but I thought that it was really bad play calling. And then we got the ball back, and I was like, we're going to score a touchdown, man. I can't believe this way. We're going to score. And David Montgomery, man, was a stud all the way down the field. Jared Goff was precise. He was hitting passes. He had a terrible game overall, though, for the first three and a half quarters, but he showed up big when he needed to. And they went up, and then that's all she wrote, man. And then Hutch with the big sack, with the big strip sack and the safety. The big fella really needed something like that, too. I thought, man, he's supposed to be that game changer on defense, and he showed why. He was the number 2 overall pick, at least on that play. So it's good to see him get off the schneid with the sacks, And then, hey, 8-2. That's all I can say, man. I'm still in shock. We won this football game, but I never should have made that post. My bad. Go Lions.
It was looking bad, though.
It was looking bad, man. It was looking terrible.
Yeah, sometimes I think that's a mark of a good football team. You know that you have a special football team when you can win ugly. It's better to win ugly than to lose pretty. And you see the Lions are growing up as a team, and they're taking on the personality of their head coach. They're tough. They're never going to give up. When you turn the ball over 4 times and you lose the time of possession, Chicago had the ball twice as long as Detroit had the ball, and you're able to come out of that football game with a win. That's huge, and that's a character builder. That's something that they can, use later on down the road. Typically, in our experience as Lions fans, that's a game that we definitely end up losing. There's no question about it. But these guys believed in themselves. They believed in one another, and they went out there and they got it done, despite the fact that they definitely should have lost that ball game. Like I said, when you turn the ball over as many times as they did and you play as ugly as they did, you should lose that game. But they found a way to make the plays when they needed to make the plays. Defense kept them in the game, kept it close enough, kept the offense within striking distance that all they had to do is just put together one series, make one play, just play the next down and continue to make plays, and that's how you come out of there with a victory. It was good to see, that for a long time, like I said, that hasn't been the case with the Detroit Lions, but you can see that they definitely take on the personality of their coach.
Yeah, like you said, we dominated the time of possession. I'm just gonna blame coaching at the end. They limited the play calling. They just said we're gonna give it to our running backs, like you said, that we're 8 men in the box. Like you should have kept the playbook open. Through a slant, something just going straight to the run into the heart of that defense. I thought that was terrible play calling at the end. But I got to give you guys props. You guys are 8-2. Bears are 3-8. We look pretty good, but you guys didn't give us a shot in the dark to win. Nobody really did.
Yeah, I want to go back to the beginning of the game itself. It had a very odd feeling to it. Lions weren't able to really get out of their own way, even aside from the very first Jared Goff pick, not being able to really sustain possessions. Consistently, the play calling itself, I think, outside of the big play to J-Mo. That play calling, passing game-wise, is very vanilla, was very vanilla today. And I think moving forward, they're going to have to add a few more wrinkles. Hopefully they can get something out of another big-time receiver. Maybe it's J-Mo. Maybe it eventually becomes Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't know. Maybe Laporta takes this game to a whole nother level. But that's a team that can't really afford, I think, to start slow like that offensively, consistently. It worked against the Bears. It may work against Green Bay on Thanksgiving. I don't know. Both teams are on a short week right now, having to turn around and play again right in 4 days. But I just feel like the slow start against the Bears kind of bothered me because at the end of the day, yeah, David Barnett's right. They played ugly and still won. And that's the thing. The Bears just didn't close it out. You know, we took it. And I told someone that I was standing next to at that point in time in the game, they just felt like after the Jameson Williams touchdown, it was a dagger to Chicago. Like they didn't have the same pep in their step offensively or defensively on the field the rest of that game. And, you know, you can make sure at the end of the day, all you can do is beat the teams that's on your schedule. You know, the Bears have been playing better over the last few weeks, even though Badgett had his issues. I think overall as a team, they've been playing pretty decent. But, you know, it's a divisional game. I actually had Detroit winning big heading into this game, but I always knew in the back of my mind that the Bears could make it a serious game. I'm just shocked that they started as slow as they did. And I kind of felt like, okay, they started as slow as they did in the first half. Maybe they'll pick it up in the second half. Didn't pick it up in the second half either in the third quarter. But the most important thing is they finished the first half good, up 14-10 with the lead. Finished the game very well, on fire. Ended up with the lead, won. So,
yeah, man, the beginning of that football game was really weird to me as well. The Chicago Bears marching down the field. Justin Fields looked like he hadn't missed a beat in a month. He missed the prior 4 weeks, I believe it was, and he just marched down the field, man. He was running the football. He was making nice, crisp passes. We couldn't really get too much pressure on him, and if we did get any type of a sniff of a pressure, Fields would just get out of it and just complete a pass or run for a first down. And then Goff came out, and he just didn't look good right away off the bat. He was missing passes. He had a couple picks. He just didn't look good overall in that first quarter. And he should have had more turnovers than he did, or more interceptions. Anyways, I think he had 2 or 3 on the day. He should have had 4. He should have had at least 4. Jalen Johnson from the Chicago Bears just missed a 99-yard touchdown pick 6. And we somehow went up 14-10, going into that half. And I was just like, man, it just don't feel right today. It just didn't feel right. They just couldn't get anything going. The pressure on the defense, just like the offense was stagnant. I just didn't understand what was really going on. And one of the worst games I've ever seen Doc play as a Detroit Lion. It looked like he was under Anthony Lynn, our old OC there, man, when he first came to Detroit, like still shell-shocked that he was a Detroit Lion. So, the bounce back, it's a Chicago Bear. I'm not going to make fun of the Bears, but we handed that game to the Bears and they just handed it right back to us. That was one of those games. And these are the type of games, though, I don't want to destroy the Chicago Bears here. I don't want to do that. But it's like, when you get handed a victory like that, and then you just give it right back, there's all kinds of problems going in there in Chicago. But I think when you win a game like this too, and I think Mel kind of said something too, this kind of bring forth some, fighting through adversity, I think is a really good thing here. And I think it can bring a little more unity. This team's already loving each other up. These guys are all about unity, kumbaya, all that kind of stuff right now. But I think a victory like this, even though it was ugly, but a victory like this at home, you're down and out, you're not playing good football. You come back late into the game, you score 2 big touchdowns. I think J-Mo needed that big one too. I'm so proud for J-Mo. I love that because I'm just rooting for that kid to succeed here. And then we make a stop and make another touchdown. Dave Montgomery, former Chicago Bear. It was so well. The script was so well written. It feels like it was scripted. I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in that garbage like that, though. But it felt like it was written. I just felt like it was written, and I think that could bring a team up like that. So it's still a victory. It's not the greatest victory and all, but it does bring a little bit more unity, I think, to the club.
Yeah, this is a trap game. It's a you look at it there. It was sandwiched in between two teams that had pretty high expectations for the season with the LA Chargers, and then you have the Lions hosting the Denver Broncos on the Thursday night game. And then you got the Chicago Bears, who I don't think a lot of people had picked doing too much this year. And then you look at what they've done this year thus far, and the fact that their quarterback is just coming back from injury. I think the Lions didn't take him as seriously as they should have. They looked at their record and they say, hey, we just go out there and show up. We should beat these guys. But they forgot that those 53 guys over there, they get paid a paycheck as well, and they have some pride. And they decided they wanted to come in there and they're going to play and they're going to see what they could do. They're going to lay it out there, lay it on the line, see what they can do. And the Lions, thought it was like a Mike Tyson fight. When he's fighting Vander Holyfield, and they thought he could just go out to play. Thought they could just show up, and all of a sudden you get hit in the mouth. You realize, man, I'm in a real fight here. I gotta fight back. And I think that's what the Lions found, what the Lions found themselves in. And it took them a little while. They were stunned initially, and it took a little while to shake the cobwebs for them to come together and finally say, okay, guys, we need to get serious here, or otherwise we're going to leave out of here with a W. With an L. And like I said, they were able to do what they needed to do in that last series. The defense hung in there, made enough plays so that the offense could, when they finally, were able to shake the cobwebs and clear their head, they could go down there and make the plays that they know that they could make and end up stealing the game. Because again, that's a game that they should not have won, but they did win. But it's a character builder game. Even when, but it's kind of tricky because it can say, well, we can go out there and play bad, we can still win. No, that's not. It's not going to happen against good football teams. That's typically what happens when you play against bad football teams, when you play down to the level of the competition that you're playing. And I think that's how the Lions approached this game today. They said, well, we'll just come out here, we'll give it 3/4 effort and see if we can come out with a W. You got to play. You got to play balls to the wall each and every week when you go out there. You got to play every game, every down like it's your last. And then you'll play the game, play the type of game that you're expected to play. But unfortunately, they played a very ugly game. But fortunately, they came out with the ugly win.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Also, I think it was very important for Goff to show he can galvanize this team. They finished the first half strong, finished the second half strong, of course, with the win. And, I'm not going to be as rough on them about the interceptions as a lot of other people are, because I'm a guy who believes in, if as the quarterback, if you throw us into a bad situation, I can deal with you. If you throw us out of it and you get the win at the end of the day, you're going to have games like this. It's going to happen. This is his last dud. When was the last time we really seen a performance like this, of this magnitude from Jared Goff? Since early last year, maybe the New England Patriot game a year ago. So, yeah, I think that at the end of the day, man, he answered some questions, because it's not going to always be pretty. A lot of Goff skeptics out there, I'm one of them, have been that way for a long time. Sometimes some of us will keep moving the goalpost on him. Okay, well, I want to see him be the reason we win. Okay, well, when they see him be the reason that we win, they say, okay, well, he didn't do it pretty enough, so that doesn't matter. If he does it pretty, but he comes up short, we still knock him down for that. I think today was the type of game that he needed, right along with this young football team. But people have to keep in mind, this is a very young football team, and they're learning how to win in a variety of ways. He's slowly building more and more confidence. He's learning how to win with this team in a variety of different ways, whether or not Amon-Ra St. Brown is having a hot day, or Reynolds is, or guys are dropping passes. He's steadily figuring out ways to win games. So I would just tell Lions fans, don't rough him up too bad. I mean, the three picks looks bad. He honestly could have had 5 picks, and we want to be realistic about it. But, woulda, coulda, shoulda, ifs, whatnot. He had his 3. He came through in the clutch when we needed him to. Big drives to end the first half, major drive, monster drives to end the second half, and they walked away with the victory. Now, people are going to, of course, bring up contracts. That's all fans do after every great Goff performance or poor Goff performance. Well, the money. Should we pay him this? Should we pay him that? I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm living in the moment. I'm happy as hell for this football team, because it's been a long time since this city could get behind a quality football team like this. They may not be as talent-laden as some of those Stafford teams that we had back in the day, or even the mid-'90s Lions of Herman Moore and Brett Perryman and Morton and Barry and all those guys and David Sloan. They may not have all of that, but this team has character and they got a very unique sort of soul about them. To for a lesser extent. So I'm very proud. I'm proud of Goff. Like I said, I've been one of the biggest Goff skeptics from the very beginning, but I got to get credit when credit is due. He's doing his job. If we want to talk about style points, really no quarterback in the league is doing it extra sexy right now. They're all just gutting out wins however they can gut them out. So I'm not going to knock our quarterback for it. And I think Goff is doing a hell of a job right now.
Yeah, kind of like touching on the turnovers too. You got 4 turnovers. You're not really supposed to win football games. So, and that goes back to high school. That goes back, and that goes back to even college too as well. So, and then the NFL is just not even heard of. It's just not even heard of. Man, 4 turnovers. Your quarterback's giving the ball away. He's giving away presents. It's early. It's not even Christmas time, and he's just handing over interceptions after interception. Just handing the victory to him, and it's like Walt said, man. Proud of Jared Goff for fighting through that. That's he wears well. He's a leader of this football team. He's not this crazy emotional Phillip Rivers type guy that's gonna hoot and holler all over the sidelines, run up and down. He takes it. He just moves on to the next play. I love that about Jared Goff. He does have ice for veins. He's cold, you know what I mean? He doesn't really get into his feelings too much. You don't see his emotions too much on the field. When something good happens, he does. When something bad happens, he just kind of just moves forward, man. He's laser focused, and he was having a bad day, man. And then after the game, he's talking about the turnovers, and he's like, I needed to be big when, I wasn't having a very good game. I needed to step up at the right moment, and that's what they did. He had the 3 interceptions, should have been 4, maybe even 5, like Walt said. And then, with the Craig Reynolds, with the big drop on the kickoff, with the big fumble there, lots of turnovers, man. You're not supposed to win those type of games, but they fought through. And that's a big step forward, especially for this type of team. We all know what type of team this is, guys. This is like one of those teams like SOL, man. SOL lost. Like those teams 3, 4, 5 years ago, even longer, are not going to win this type of football game. It's just not going to happen. They're going to put their heads between their, right between their legs, and they're just going to go through the motions, and they're going to get blown out, or they're going to somehow make it close on some like fluky play. But that's not what they did, man. They just kept moving forward, and they won the football game. And it's not a pretty win, but it's a win, and it's 82, baby.
Yeah, people have to understand it's hard to win at any level, but in particular in the NFL, it's very, very difficult to win. And you're able to come out with a W. That's huge. No matter how it looks, that's huge. Nobody's going to recall at the end of the year what that win looked like. All they're going to know is that it was a win. And, having a guy like Jared Goff who doesn't let those negative plays affect him, or he doesn't show that those negative plays affect him, I think that's huge, because that's one of the things I used to say about Cam Newton and even Kyler Murray. When they're having a bad game, they're having a bad game. When the team's playing poorly, the team's playing poorly. Cam would always sit on the end of the bench, man, with that towel on his head, with his head down. Kyler Murray, you can see his body language. He'd have his head down when he wasn't playing well, or the team wasn't playing well, the team wasn't winning. And that, other players, you're the leader of that team just because of the position that you play and the fact that you touch the ball every single play. Other guys are going to see that, and they feed off of that, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And the fact that Jared is just able to kind of let that just roll off his back, kind of like water on a duck, I think that's a huge bonus for the Lions and for the rest of the guys. That even though he may not be a big talker, you just look at his body language. He always has good body language, and I think that's good, especially for a young football team. And for him to come out there and for him to do what he did at the end of the game, I think that's really, really big. And I think that's something, again, like I said, that builds character. It builds character in this football team. I think